Hi, hi. I'm Lucius BORICH, drummer for and songwriter for the band COG. Um, we've got a tour coming up, a bit more of a regional kind of tour, and we're we've dubbed it part two of the vinyl tour. So it's a continuation of the first half that we did in the beginning of the year. So yes, here I am.
Too easy,
Here
brother.
you are.
So as you say, COG start the second leg of the vinyl tour on October the 4th in Victoria before hitting Byron Bay, WA for a few shows and ending up at the Crowbar in Sydney as part of the birthday week on November 29th, mate. Like, there's been a bit of time between the first run and this run, so yeah, you itching to get back out on the road?
Yeah, definitely. There was quite a bit of a hoo-ha with the DMs from people saying, "Well, why aren't you coming to WA or why aren't you coming here?" And so it definitely made sense to when we had the right timing between the three of us and the crew and everything to kind of forge the next part of it, really. So yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, and you've already played some shows in South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, and ACT back in March. So how'd they go down, man? How were they received?
Really good. It was a really great between the three of us, obviously it was based more around sharing space in the new normal, and it really felt, and I guess obviously with the people who came to the shows as well, it felt very, almost like we were re-releasing that music to some degree, which we were because we were doing it on vinyl, yes, in that capacity. But it's just had an air about it that I think everyone was excited about, romantically reminiscing about when those albums came out and we got together and created a good little vibe in the room together, playing and all the rest of it. It was very similar. It had that air to it, which was really good. And we don't play too much, so as much as we'd probably like, but yeah, everyone seemed very very happily stoked about what happened, and so were we. It was really good fun.
And are these next shows going to be more of the same, or are you going to change things up a little bit?
No, we're still going to base it around the two albums, Sharing Space and New Normal, and probably keep a similar set, which we thought ran pretty good. And we didn't really get to play enough of it on the first run. I think we did 8 or 10 dates, so just wanted to keep kind of playing, again and try to do the show again and again. So this gives us the opportunity to kind of play the same show again and obviously go to different places.
And so suppose that there's still one or two people out there who haven't seen COG Live before, mate. Like, run us through a typical COG Live show.
Um, Look, it's pretty. There's nothing too fancy about it, We don't. I'm never been one for it to be fancy bells and whistles and jumps and come on, let's mosh, and all that type of stuff. It's really about the music, and everything else kind of adds to it. Yes, the light show adds to it. We get a bit of that going on, and sometimes we have a backdrop and bits and pieces, but I think really we're a no thrills kind of band, taking it back to just the music. We pretty much wear the same clothes we've always worn since back in the day. We don't really, we want it to be about the music. We want the experience to be about the music. Even to some degree, removing us, like, yeah, we add value and we play the music and we're there, and we have that interrelationship. But sonically and vibrationally and tone, with the tones of the sounds and everything like that, and what we're doing dynamically, hopefully it's the music that is the show and is more of the star than, say, three of us on stage, or the light show, or even the venue for that case. It's really about the music. So that's what I've always liked about certain bands. Yeah, they add the nice stuff there to I guess add a little bit more spice, or color here and there. But musically, if it's not really translating and the songs aren't that good, and when I'm at a show anyway, it doesn't matter how many bells and whistles and things like that they have. It just doesn't move me. You know what I mean? So we really just try to keep it as much as possible just about the music, and obviously play as passionate as we can.
You've been doing this for a long time now, bro. So Does touring life still appeal to you as much as it used to? And what sorts of things do you do to keep it interesting these days?
Um, well, I think just traveling in, regardless of whether you're playing music or not, is fun to do, like just exploring. So I think that's exciting, and music is a bit of a vehicle for us to do that. So that never gets, kind of old or stale. There's always seems to be new venues popping up too. Every now and again, there's new, like on the last tour, we played a bunch of new venues that we'd never played before, and that was really cool. So new environments and you see how cities change and environments change as you move around and as you tour over time. I guess we get to tour in a way that's not too bunched up. So it's not like you're doing 4 shows and then, all of a sudden you've got a couple of days off and then you're back into 5 shows or whatever. Because we've got other jobs and everything as well and businesses, we try to keep it to like, 1 or 2 shows a week, just so we can really maximize those shows with, us being match fit as possible and not kind of wearing ourselves out, so to speak, so that the people get the best bang for their buck, so to speak, if you will. And we like to have that time as a band, as as a group, and our crew and everything to get together. It's like a good excuse to get together and be together again and have some fun and kind of hang out and have a few laughs and play some music. So it doesn't get tiring for me, or it doesn't get boring or anything like that. Yes, it would be nice to go to a few more places, maybe overseas, but that's obviously a financial thing that we just can't achieve. So we just keep it local as best as we can, and drive it home as best as we can.
Now, as you mentioned before, the vinyl tour, as the name suggests, is celebrating the release on vinyl for the first time ever of sharing space in the new normal. So did the fans react to the vinyl as well as you thought they would?
A lot of great feedback, yeah, and a couple not too good feedback. So it was definitely more in the percentage of positive than negative, but the negative was more just some of the, unfortunately, when you try to produce these types of organic physical products, there can be times where some things just don't meet the mark. You might get a bump, or a song does it kind of skips a track or something like that, because you're pressing and you're cutting vinyl, which is pretty standard, which is gone out obviously over the ages with vinyl. You can have some problems. So we tried our best to amend those and make sure that people obviously because they've obviously paid up front. They finally got there, because we had a real quite a hard time actually trying to get the vinyl. It was supposed to be done in the Czech Republic first. That pin got pulled, so then everything had to be reverted back to Melbourne. And we still wanted to make sure the quality was going to be there and all the rest of it, so we had to do testing, and it just took a lot longer than we thought. But we still had some anomalies that were a little bit funky here and there, and but overall everyone was really, really stoked, and but that's part of that process, just trying to physically get that product to a point where it's 100%. Not all of them are going to kind of reach the mark, but yes, the majority did. Pretty much 90% did, so that's good.
Is there any left if people still want to get their hands on, or did they sell out?
I only think there's a few left. Yeah, there's not many. So I don't know if we'll ever press any again. So well, not in this format anyway. If we go to press some more, it might be more in a different, because this time we really, it was 180 grams. It was, the artwork is on the albums. We made sure there was kind of color and variety, which was cool. But we might just go back to maybe a typical black and that type of thing next time. But there's only, I don't think there's many left, at this point. So yeah, you definitely want to kind of jump in. We'll be selling them on the run of the shows on the vinyl tour. So if you're there and you want to pick one up at the show, that they'll be there for sure.
Oh, and speaking of that tour, bro, like I know Sydney's sold out, but there's still a few tickets left for the other shows. So where do people go to get themselves a ticket?
definitely go onto cog.com.au, so our website, and like sign up to the newsletter. That's super important. Put your email in there because we communicate through there as well. But we've got all the links on the site, the homepage. As soon as you hit the homepage, you'll see a link to OzTix. You know, you can go to our Instagram. We've got a link tree in there. We've got links. We're always throwing the links in, so it's not too hard to find. But yeah, OzTix, and then you'd put COG in, and that should bring up the vinyl tour.
Right. Now, I'm not going to ask you if you got any new material coming out because I always get the same standard answer from you. But what I am going to ask is, will you be playing any new songs at these shows?
No.
Oh, but that pretty much another one then too. I'm glad I didn't ask. Now, before we let you go, just quickly, we've started a new thing up where we go through your old photos and we dig a couple out and we ask you to sort of give us a bit of an explanation about them. So
Okay.
I found this one from your kit. What
Like a rat in a brat? Yeah, like a was the say like rat in a bread tin? Yeah.
Okay,
so you want an explanation for that?
is?
Hang on, let me just put my goggles on real quick. Hang on. Yes, like a rat in a bread tin. So that was done by my drum tech, Roger, and he surprised me. So I walked out, and you know, maybe it might have been, I don't know why he chose that phrase, but I think it was going around in the, you know, the COG camp, like a rat in a bread tin. For some reason, we were saying that quite a bit, and he put it on my drums, and I walked out there to play the show, and that was on there. But he got the idea because in the film clip run, when we did the film clip run, and a response to the three imbeciles that were kind of politically putting together the campaign during 9/11, I wrote Bush, Howard and Blair, fuck off on my drums back in the day. So he kind of copied it, but it's not as good as the one I originally did, that was for sure. But still the right intention, good intention there from Rog.
You have one more for you, mate, but I know you're strapped for time, so I won't worry about showing you this time. But on the next one, I'll get you around on the next run round.
All right. Sure.
Thanks for your time, Lucius. Always a pleasure speaking with you, my friend. The tour does kick off.
Thanks, Chris.
I was actually when I was doing the research, I was going to say, why the fuck no Queensland show? And then I realized that you've already been here. So I'll have to catch you next time.
That's right. You know, you never know. There might be a sneaky one that might pop in here and there, you know. So we're always kind of waiting for something to pop up, if it makes sense. So you never know.
Keep me posted, brother, and you take care. We'll catch up with you shortly.
Thanks, mate. Good to see you. Take care.